There's a pain that's got no name. It's the kind that eats at you when you wake up, and the house is way too quiet. When you reach out, and there's nothing there. Rick knew that pain real well. It came when his dad died, and got worse when they took Thor. It wasn't fate, wasn't an accident, wasn't God. It was her, the woman he loved, the woman who slept next to him every single night. Marissa couldn't stand sharing. And here's the messed up part. She lied. 4 days, cried, helped him search, faked the whole desperate act. While she knew exactly where Thor was, until the cops closed in, until the lies came crashing down, until she screamed, totally losing it. You only cared about that dog. I couldn't take it anymore. And when you hear what she did, how Rick found Thor, and how far he went to get justice, you're gonna need to hit pause, take a breath, and pick a side. This is the story of a man who lost everything twice, a dog who never stopped waiting, and jealousy that turned into straight-up cruelty. But before we keep going, tell me, what city are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. When Rick's dad died, the world fell apart slowly. Wasn't all at once. It was gradual. First, the house went quiet. Then Sundays lost their meaning. The smell of morning coffee, gone. And with it, the last piece of family Rick felt he had left. That's when Thor showed up. A black lab puppy. Floppy ears, eyes that seemed to understand things nobody said out loud. And somehow, you can't explain it. He just knew. Knew when Rick was at his worst. Knew when the silence got too heavy. Thor would rest his head on Rick's knee and just stay there. Not asking for anything, not judging anything. Just there, on the worst days when getting out of bed felt impossible. It was Thor who'd lick his face, who'd insist, who'd remind him, "You're still here, and so am I." He wasn't just a dog. Thor was living proof that Rick wasn't completely alone in this world. And that's exactly why Marissa started hating him. At first, Marissa thought it was cute. The way Rick took care of Thor, how he'd talk to him, how worried he'd get. But something inside her started twisting. 'Cause the more she saw that love, the more she realized she'd never gotten that. Rick never looked at her the way he looked at Thor. Never ran to the door when she came home. Never seemed complete just from her being there. And little by little, envy turned to resentment. Why does a dog deserve more than me? Why's he smiling more when he sees Thor than when he sees me? Every time Rick came home from work, and the first thing he did was crouch down to hug Thor, Marissa felt a stab in her chest. She started testing him. Complained. "You didn't even say hi to me yet." Provoked. "If I disappeared, how long would it take you to notice?" And Rick tried to smooth things over, explained, but she didn't want explanations. She wanted proof. Proof that she mattered more, but that proof never came. And that's when jealousy turned into obsession. She started hating the way Thor looked at Rick. Hated the fur on the couch. Hated the sound of the leash. Hated every second of attention Rick gave him. Until one night, lying awake staring at the ceiling, Marissa thought for the first time, what if he just disappeared? And that thought, that should have scared her, brought relief. She planned it all out. Waited for a Tuesday. A regular Tuesday, nothing special about it. Rick left early for work. Waved from a distance. Thor stayed at the door like always, waiting. Marissa waited about 20 minutes. Just to be sure. Then she grabbed the leash. Called out in that sweet fake voice, "Thor, come here, good boy." And he, innocent, excited, came running, jumped in the car all happy, stuck his head out the window. Drooling with joy, had no idea that was the last day he'd see the house where he was born. Marissa drove. Crossed town, hit the highway. 50 miles. She kept checking the rearview mirror. Thor was back there, happy, tongue hanging out, when she got to Riverside, a town Thor had never set paw in. She pulled over on some empty street. Opened the back door. Thor hopped out all excited, sniffing everything. She pretended she was going to put his leash on. But she didn't. Just looked at him one last time. And took off. Thor stood there confused for a few seconds. Took a couple steps after the car. then started running, barking, but the car just kept speeding up. And when the dust settled, when the sound faded, Thor stopped, looked one way, then the other, and for the first time in his life, didn't recognize anything. He started walking in circles, panting, desperate, tried to go back. But where? Marissa drove home, took a shower, cleaned the kitchen, rehearsed the line in front of the mirror. "Babe, I swear." I only looked away for a second. When Rick got home that night, before he even opened the door, he felt it. Something was wrong. Thor always waited there, always. But this time, silence. He opened the door. Nothing. Called out, "Thor, Thor, where are you?" That's when Marissa showed up, looking all worried. "Babe, I've been looking everywhere." I think he ran away. Rick felt the world spinning. But Marissa was perfect. Red eyes, shaky voice, trembling hands. She'd rehearsed it. And over the next few days, kept rehearsing, helped put up flyers, cried when neighbors asked, posted on social media asking for help. "Please help us find Thor." She was so convincing. Even the neighbors were saying, "Poor thing, she's suffering just as much as you." But inside, Marissa was only thinking, "Now you'll see what it's like to really lose something." But Rick couldn't accept it. Something was off. Thor didn't run away. He was scared of streets, scared of fireworks, scared of loud noises, and no camera on the block showed the gate open. Nobody heard any barking. He went to the police. That's where he met Detective Miller, a serious man, sharp eyes, but who had a dog at home. And when he heard Rick's story, something changed in him. "Listen, buddy, I'm going to help you. We're going to figure out what happened." Detective Miller didn't treat this like just a dog. He put together a team, checked cameras, cross-referenced times, investigated routes, and that's when they found it. Traffic cameras showed Marissa's car, leaving town on Tuesday morning. Alone? Nope. With Thor in the back seat. When Rick saw those images, with Detective Miller standing next to him, the floor disappeared. She took him. She took him away. The detective took a deep breath and said, "Now we're going to bring her in, and she's going to tell the truth." They called Marissa in for questioning. She showed up playing the victim, still faking concern. But Detective Miller didn't give her any room. "Put the images on the table, one by one." "This you?" Marissa swallowed hard. "Yeah, but I was just taking him for a ride." "A ride 50 miles? "To Riverside." She started stuttering. The detective kept going, relentless. "Marissa, lying in a police statement is a crime. Animal cruelty is a crime. You've got one chance to tell the truth, right now." And that's when her mask. Foi numa sala de interrogatório. Ricardo do outro lado da mesa. O delegado Miller e sua equipe ao redor. E Mariana começou a chorar. Não era choro de arrependimento. Era choro de quem foi pega. Ela negou até o limite, até que não dava mais. E então explodiu. "Tudo bem. Eu levei ele." "Levei sim. Você quer saber por quê?" "Porque eu não aguentava mais. Você só ligava para aquele cachorro. Eu podia estar morrendo. Você nem percebia. Mas se o Thor tossia, você largava tudo. Eu fiz jantar romântico. Você cortou porque o Thor precisava passear. Eu chorei na sua frente. Você perguntou se o Thor tinha comido. Eu não existia mais para você. Então eu pensei, se ele sumisse, talvez você voltasse a me ver." Ela gritava, soluçava, batia na mesa. O delegado Miller só observava, em silêncio. Ricardo estava quieto, com uma mistura de nojo e pena. E então ela disse mais baixo, quase sussurrando, "Eu deixei ele em Alfenas. Numa rua qualquer? Não sei onde exatamente." O delegado se levantou e olhou para Ricardo. "A gente vai encontrar ele. Eu te dou minha palavra." E foi aí que Ricardo levantou da cadeira e saiu correndo. Porque agora ele sabia. Thor estava vivo e o delegado Miller mobilizou toda a equipe dele para ajudar na busca. Detective Miller didn't treat this like just another case. He knew every hour counted. Thor had been alone for days, could be hurt, could be starving, So he did what few detectives would do. Mobilized a rescue operation, called the Riverside Precinct, got the animal control involved, asked for help from animal protection NGOs in the area, and, along with Rick, headed to Riverside that same day. The team split up. Each took a section of the city, brought flyers, talked to shop owners, to homeless folks, to people working the night shift. Detective Miller coordinated everything over the radio. Team 2, you check the bus terminal area. Team 3, anyone at the farmer's market? It was 5 days of non-stop operation. Rick slept in his car. Detective Miller worked his regular shift during the day, and at night went to Riverside to help. He'd tell Rick, "We don't give up. Long as there's a chance, we keep looking." Until on the 5th day, a call came through to the detective's cell. It was a lady who owned a bar. Detective Miller, "There's a dog around here that matches the description. He's real skinny, but..." The detective looked at Rick and said just one word, "Let's go." Detective Miller drove. Rick sat in the passenger seat silent, hands shaking, heart racing. When they got there, saw a black lab curled up near a wall. Dirty, skinny, empty stare. The detective pulled the squad car over slowly. "Take it easy." He's scared. Rick got out, took a few steps, and called out softly, "Thor!" The dog lifted his head, weak, but didn't react, looked up, and dropped his head back down. The detective whispered, "He's confused. Call him again." Rick took another step. "Thor, it's me, buddy. It's me." Thor lifted his head again. This time, really looked, recognized the movement. And then, it happened. First his tail wagged slowly, then his eyes went wide, and then Thor exploded, got up all at once, ran limping, tripping over his own paws, and threw himself into Rick's arms with so much force. They both fell to the ground, and right there, in the dust of that street, Thor cried the way only animals can cry, with his whole body licking Rick's face, whimpering, shaking, and Rick held him tight, buried his face in the dirty fur, and kept saying through sobs, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't protect you. I'm so sorry." Detective Miller was standing nearby, eyes watering. He turned away, wiped his face, and said into the radio, "All teams, mission accomplished. We found Thor. The lady who'd called was crying too. I knew it. I knew someone would come back for him. In that moment, nothing else mattered. Just that hug, just that reunion." Back in town, while Thor was slowly recovering, something else was growing inside Rick. Rage. Marissa hadn't made a mistake. She chose to take a living being who loved unconditionally and throw him away, and lied for days, looking him straight in the eye. So Rick made a controversial decision. Tell everything, publicly, opened his phone, wrote a long post, posted pictures of Thor before and after, told every detail, the jealousy, the abandonment, the lie, the confession, the search, the reunion, and at the end, revealed her name. In a few hours, the post blew up. 50,000 shares, millions of views, people crying, people outraged, people demanding justice, but also people saying he'd gone too far. That exposing her like that was cruel. And then the question that divided the entire country: did he do the right thing, or should revenge, even when justified, never be public? Comment below what city you're watching from. Would you have done the same? After the exposure, Marissa's life turned into hell. Lost friends, lost her job, lost her peace. Animal protection pages demanded prosecution. Lawyers offered free help to Rick, and her disappeared from social media, moved to another city, never spoke about the case again. Rick, on the other hand, focused on one single mission: give Thor back the life that was stolen from him. With time, Thor gained weight back, started playing again, started trusting again. But some things were never the same. He doesn't like getting in unfamiliar cars, gets nervous when Rick leaves without him, has nightmares. But he's alive. He's home. He's loved. And Marissa, she became a symbol A warning of what happens when we treat a living being as disposable. This story isn't just about an abandoned dog. It's about choices, about what we do when jealousy blinds us. Marissa wasn't a monster. She was a person who let resentment turn to poison. And that poison almost killed Thor. Thor couldn't read signs, couldn't find his way back alone, but he could recognize the voice of someone who never gave up on him. And sometimes that's what saves us. Someone who insists on finding us, even when the whole world's already given up. Now, I want to know from you. What city you watching from? Would you have done the same as Rick? Would you have exposed Marissa publicly? Or do you think that went too far? Drop a comment below, 'cause your opinion might make someone think twice before treating an animal or any living being like it's nothing. If you got a pet, go right now and give them a hug, 'cause they don't understand betrayal, don't understand abandonment. They only understand love.